Right, hi everybody, this is my guide to upgrading your USR 11 by removing the weights from the realistic bolt action, supposedly, and upgrading the hop-up rubber, which in this particular rifle seemed to be badly worn and wasn't really doing much. Right, so let's get started. First of all, you need to remove the hex bolts at the bottom of the gun. You require a 2.5mm hex to do this, or an Allen key as we Brits like to call them. You also need to pull out the magazine if it's installed in the gun. It's worth noting that you can see the hop-up rubber here, just in front of that brass area. There's that black ring, that's the hop-up rubber itself. Next, just grab the top of the gun, give it a yank. Well, not too much of a yank, just be a little gentle with it. And the top section should come away from the barrel. Now you can gently separate the stock from the barrel and trigger segment, and just place the stock to one side, because we only need to play with the barrel and trigger part. To get to the weights in the bolt, we first need to remove the bolt from the gun. I personally find this easier by removing the barrel from the trigger mechanism. It's very straightforward, and we need to do it anyway because we're replacing the hop-up at the same time. So to do this, first of all you need to just remove a single screw from on the underside of where the trigger part meets the barrel segment. It's just a normal Phillips fitment, so your regular screwdriver will fit it. So pull that bit out. And then you can twist the barrel. It's counterclockwise twist, and that will slowly unscrew. That then leaves us with the trigger section completely separate. First thing we need to do to get it out is flip down the retaining pin, which is just above the trigger guard. You'll see it in the next picture. This holds the bolt inside the trigger section, so flip that bit down. I then whack up the cocking lever, pull it back. On the other side of the gun, the trigger section, there is also a round pin, which I find if I wedge an Allen key in there, it's very easy to pull the bolt out. Sometimes you'll find the bolt sort of sticks a little bit at the end, and that's because there's a rubber O-ring which gets stuck on the brass section at the end of the bolt. We now need to locate the retaining pin, which holds the brass section of the bolt, to the normal chromed metal section, because this needs to be drilled out. As you can see, it's a 3mm pin, so it's going to require some pretty careful drilling. It's very important that you centre punch this pin with, I mean, if you've got a proper centre punch, use that, but if you don't, you can use a good quality nail or a screw is my personal preference, because the tip is a lot sharper, and this will help keep your drill bit centralised on the pin while you drill down. While you're drilling, it's very important that you don't get any swarf fragments of metal inside the piston itself. As you can see here, I've blocked up the end with a little bit of gaffer tape. This is important because anything gets inside this bolt, it will wear out your O-rings incredibly quickly, so cleanliness is next to godliness when doing this procedure. I'm using a little hobby pillar drill, which I got from B&Q for about 30 quid, I think. It's very good for the money. It can't take much more than a 12mm chuck, so it's not particularly flexible, but it's perfect for a little job like this. So get yourself a nice new sharp 3mm drill bit. If you haven't got a pillar drill, make sure you clamp down the bolt very tightly in a vise so that it won't slide around too much, and good luck. Right, when you're drilling, you only need to go probably 3, maybe 4mm into the pin, because you're only trying to actually remove the head of the pin, so that when you unscrew the brass section from the bolt tube, there's nothing stopping the thread from turning, so you literally only have to drill the thickness of the thread and the cylinder into the pin to unscrew this. Don't go too deep, because there's potential that a swarf might hit the O-ring, which is on the brass section. I've probably gone slightly deeper than I should have done. It doesn't matter too much, it's just the deeper you dig, the more you're likely to cock it up and have to buy a new brass section, or fill it in with I don't know, maybe some epoxy or something like that might keep it a good seal. We're now at the point where we can unscrew the brass section. I did this with a pair of mole grips with a bit of gaffer tape around the jaws to sort of soften them up and not damage the brass section. It takes a fair bit of force, and it's a counterclockwise again thread, so don't be too scared about putting a bit of force on this bit. Once that's out, the bolt should just be able to pull out. There's not actually much inside the tube, so pop it out. Make sure you've got a clean sheet down to lay all these parts out, because you don't want any crap getting on the seals at all, because that will mess them up. Right, your bolt should look pretty much like this. It's very simple to remove the weights at this point. You'll notice that there's 4 lots of Phillips screws. If you just unscrew those with a small-headed screwdriver, that's pretty much what retains the weights on. You may need to give them a little bit of a tap, or put a sharp flathead screwdriver in between them to break them apart. But once that's been removed, you can slop it all back together. Preferably, if you can put a little bit more grease around the O-rings of the bolt, that will make it all slide a bit faster, get you a few more foot-pounds. Just give you a sweeter action on the shots. So yeah, just reassemble as unassembled. Very simple to put back together. Right, moving on to the hop-up change. As I said on this gun before, the original hop-up rubber was incredibly worn out, and it's located in the barrel section of the gun. So first things first, we need to actually get at it. You do this by removing the large alloy block halfway along the barrel. This is just retained by 2 Phillips screws. Underneath that you can then see the hop-up mechanism quite clearly with the adjuster lever, and again we need just to unscrew that Phillips screwdriver which is retaining the adjuster mechanism lever. With the lever removed, the hop-up mechanism and the inner barrel slide out of the outer barrel quite simply. We can now take apart the hop-up mechanism, which will separate the barrel from it as well. It's only retained together with the 2 clearly visible Phillips screws on the top section of the hop-up. Be careful when separating the hop-up, because there's a part in there which helps feed the BBs, which is spring-loaded, so that can fly out at some points. With the hop-up mechanism separated, you can remove the barrel quite easily and inspect the hop-up rubber. When you take the hop-up rubber off, it's not glued on in any way. Be very careful making sure you know how it came off, because you'll notice once it's off, the tube has got a lot of cuts and slits in it which help locate the new rubber, and it's very important you get this rubber inserted in the correct way. My replacement rubber, just one that the guys who own the rifle gave me, it's just some purple piece of rubber. I don't know if it makes any difference compared to the stock, but it's new and it says it's improved, so we can only believe TM that they're telling the truth. Take a look at the edge of the hop-up, and you'll notice at the right-hand side of the picture there's a slit cut in the middle, and the part of the hop-up rubber tab slots straight into that. So make sure you got the hop-up rubber lined up perfectly on the tube, and then make sure it's lined up perfectly inside the hop-up system. Take a bit of time doing this because it's so important. Once you're happy you've got it all located, make sure you're very careful when putting the spring-loaded part back into the hop-up mechanism, because there can be a bit of git and the spring can fold over if you force it too much. Just take your time with that and it will go back together. Then tighten all the screws up. Don't do them too tight, but make sure there's no slop in the actual mechanism itself. And then just reinstall the parts back into the gun and you're all set. Before I did these upgrades, I found the USR was shooting less accurately and less distance than my G36 K, which is a TM model, dead stock. With these upgrades I'm finding it's on a par, if not a little bit more accurate than my M14, which again is stock, and that's taking into account the fact that the hop-up rubber is still to wear in. So hopefully you haven't found this video too tedious, and good luck with your upgrades, and let me know how you get on.